We're here in the Snack Attack studio, and we got a new sign here, the Snack Attack podcast. And I got a really special guest today. It's Adam Hendrix.
Yep.
Welcome to the podcast,
How you
brother.
doing, Mr. Castle Clyde?
I'm doing wonderful as always.
Stacking some chips?
Yes.
Dealing bad beats?
Yeah. Almost a gotcha. Anyhow, a little information about this man. He's won over 10 million career earnings. This summer, he damn near won the main event. I believe it was sixth place, right?
Sixth place.
1.9 million. He's the first one I think I've had on my show that's went that deep in the main. Hey, let the fans out there know what kind of experience that was. If you
I played the main event multiple times. Ever since I was a kid, I would watch the World Series on ESPN, and I was all hyped up to play the main. Sat down in Vegas in 2017, played my first main event. Didn't last through day one. Next year, didn't last through day one. Then I think I made day 3 the next year. And then after that, never cashed the main. So this year, my first goal was just get out of day 1, right? I almost thought about, they let you register day 2 of the main now, which I don't think's great for the game. You know, it's a freeze out tournament. It should just be, before my time, you'd have to show up before the tournament started and there's no late entry. Sort of like, I feel like for the main, since it's sort of an endurance test and a poker test, it'd be nice if we started, the main event closed registration. But I get it. They want their rake and stuff. But this year I finally got into the money, and that was, something. I had my best friend Gotti. We both made the main event cash for the first time. We were celebrating, me and Francis Anderson on the bubble. We were next to all the TVs, cramped with our phones, taking pictures of, just big fans. And we got in the money. We were all celebrating. So that was a big moment. And then after that, everything's icing. Just making day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, and then the final, right?
Yeah, It wasn't that easy though, right? I mean, as players get knocked out, it's a little bit tougher, right?
Yeah, I remember, not super smooth sailing some of the last days, maybe 4 tables left, 3 tables left, 2 tables left. I had a lot of, good players at the table, but the cards weren't really falling in my way. And I remember taking a break, maybe the final 2 tables, and I'm like, I had second in chips, and there I was below average, and I was sort of freaking out mentally. You're like, I was going to make the final table, and you're trying to, not count your, chickens before the hatch or whatever it's called. And you're like, I was going to make the final table. Maybe I won't anymore. And you're getting a little in your head. And I took a break, came back, bluffed a guy out of a pod, and I was rolling. So we made the final after that.
The year you said you played the first time was 2017.
Yeah, I believe that's when I quit my job, packed my bags, and headed to Vegas. Well, I didn't pack my bags. I just left for a few months. But
wow. That's the first year I played it.
Really?
And I cashed in that damn thing. I got 610th, so I was thrilled the whole way. And of course, I got bad beated out of it, but it's still a big thrill. So I can imagine you going all the way to the final table. Hey, did they interview or anything like that when you got to the final table?
Yeah, they did a few interviews. So now the main event's on CBS Sports instead of ESPN. So they've been running episodes every Thursday. So I've been sort of watching those, and a few episodes they might not have me in there. And then they did a nice interview where they pulled me, and I, talked about my life and stuff like that quickly and what the main event felt. So that was cool just seeing that, because I've seen other people get those interviews, and that's just like a cool moment. I think it's cool getting away from poker sometimes and hearing somebody's backstory, sort of like what we're doing here.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You're not going to believe this. When I played the main event, I went deep, and I had a lot of big pros at my table, okay? And I was at 3 TV tables, and they didn't show one of my hands.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So there's not a lot of film on me. Do you think that's an advantage for me, for people not knowing how I play? Or, for example, you went all the way to the final day, and you were on TV a lot. People get to see how you play, and your ranges and exactly what all you do.
Yeah. For a pro, I mean, I hope to be somewhat, balanced, as I say, where like you're not going to give too much away because I played this hand one way. Right. I think people would know I'm capable of bluffing. I think for a recreational, let's say, I was even watching last night, I was watching the main event coverage for other years. I think I watched 2008, 2009, because I just love
Same
main
way.
event coverage.
I'm the same way.
And I was looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Jonathan Tamayo, like 26 left in the main in 2009 it was. That was sort of crazy. He won the main event the year before.
Yeah.
And then a few others. But then I looked down at, I'm just observing and Darvin Moon's there. You remember Darvin Moon?
Yes.
I think he got second that year.
Yeah.
But he's a recreational that, he didn't have, he had a little bit of TV coverage, but there's not like live stream back then. But for his style, if they were live streaming and showing some of the hands he was playing, because he was getting away with a lot later in the tournament, that'd be a huge disadvantage for him because he plays, uses his image. He's like, sort of a rural guy, just playing tight to the vest. The money means a lot to him, but he was, smoking people out of hands, bluffing them left and right. So I think for somebody that's, maybe going against the grain with their image, it's definitely a disadvantage to be on live stream. It might be good for, personally, it's fun to see yourself on TV playing hands. It's sort of sad you miss some hands from the main.
I wish I could have, yeah.
Right. But, some of the, like these guys, like if they showed these hands, they might not have got away with some things later in the tournament.
But, it's also a learning thing because when I think of myself playing, and I think I'm a pretty damn good player, I'm just being honest, but I would like to know if, hey, did I play this hand right? Did I make him think I had this when I had this? That kind of stuff. And none of that's out there for me yet.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of, an advantage, but it also would have been a help if I got a few hands in where I could say, okay, I see what I did wrong there.
Mm.
Do you ever watch how you do and replay it? Hey, what did I do wrong at this hand, particular hand that could have cost you like half your chips or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of funny because, I know there were some final tables I've been a part of that the production, it's not a live stream, so you don't see the hands for months later. So I'm still waiting on a WPT final table if I made this nice fold, if it was correct or not. And it sort of drives you crazy, you're waiting. And I'm sure back in the older WSOP days, those guys had to wait till October, November to hear anything about the hands they played. They're like, did I make a good fold here? It sort of drives you crazy. I mean, generally, I have some friends, as soon as they finish a hand, they're just get out their phone and type it in and then look at it later because they might forget about it. So, for some people, I think that's okay if you're not, I think it distracts you maybe a little bit from other people's play, focusing in on their tendencies and stuff because you're taking away and you're, on your phone writing down this hand.
Right.
You might not see the action in front of you. But if you're somebody who really wants to improve, I think that's a good habit, maybe just to write down quickly the hands that are important. And then later that night, if you bust, you cash, whatever, that's when you study, right? That's when they're in your mind and you're feeling the emotions of, how that guy played, how the energy felt at the table, all the situations where if, it's sort of like if you go a week later and try and review some hands, you might not really know what was going on there.
It's like a learning experience. Now with me, I mean, you know me pretty well. I mean, it's not like you just met me or nothing. Do you think I'm going through the right way to get myself better by watching a lot of poker, watching I got Poker Go for a reason. I love poker, first of all, but I think I can learn from watching how the bet sizing, for example, I mean, I think David Peters is probably one of the best at betting for value. I've watched him so many times do it, and he never does it with the best hand. He's just the best hand that you think that's showing out there, you know what? But he has a way of betting, and he always gets paid off for some reason, but he's super good at that. So I watch all this stuff. Now, that's just one example. There's other players that I see what they're doing. So do you think me watching more TV is helping me? I also read up on books. Do you think the best way to get better is to watch live poker or reading books? What do you think is the best way? For not just me, other people that are interested in poker too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely good is just sort of watching anybody. It doesn't even have to be like an elite player, right? For example, if I watch main event coverage and I see sort of how this non-pro plays or this pro plays, I sort of get a feel for how everybody's playing, and then you get population tendencies, right? If I sit down with this guy from Texas, I'm like, well, I've watched a bunch of guys from Texas, like they might play this way. I start, maybe not bluffing them as much right away. And then later on, as I develop like actual experience with them, maybe I'll change. But it's definitely good to watch any content, but with poker, you have to be careful. I remember early in my career, I would watch some upswing videos with Doug Polk back in the day.
Okay.
And he comes from a cash background, a lot of online. He didn't play much live at the time. And it was really early game theory optimal, where like if I have, the worst hand, if I have deuce 4 and I have nothing, like you're supposed to bluff this one, like all the time. But that might be okay in theory, but you're playing against this guy who's called you twice on an ace high board. This guy's not folding by the river, right? So
Right.
just, taking grains of information is always good, and like creating a foundation. I always like just to actually think about it. Like, why am I doing this? Or is this the right person to do it against, right?
When I'm dealing with you, for example, in the Poker Go studio, you know how I am. Do you ever see me focusing on what I'm watching? Do you ever notice that about me when I'm playing, when I'm actually dealing over there?
Yeah.
Because I'm taking this in sometimes, especially a way a hand might get played out. Certain hands get played out a certain way. Once you give up the aggression, this is what I'm seeing now. Once you give up the aggression and you check, the guy that's been calling you down is going to fire at you almost 99% of the time. And the next thing you know, you're bluffing, or they read you bluffing. So now you're losing the hand. I don't see any twist on that. I mean, every time someone gives up the power, it seems like they caved into, okay, this guy's not going to fold. I might as well check now.
Right.
Do you see that a lot too, or is it just me looking at this?
I think you can definitely see it, especially at the higher stakes. People, they play their hands a little faster in a way because everybody's playing pretty aggressive poker pre-flop and stuff like that. There's not as many tight players. So when you get to the turn and you've bet twice or whatever, and this guy sees you check, and if you're not careful that you're checking over good hands, these guys are going to aggressively attack you, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful that you don't always bet with your value. You sometimes check it over to somebody, or else people like that, if the tendency is, every time I check, they're going to go all in. Like, maybe I should check some really good hands. But yeah, different. I know for sure, like higher stakes, people are playing 4 chips. Like, they're going for it. They don't mind rebuying. You've noticed plenty of these guys, they bust out of a 10K tournament. They're like, well, right to the cage. Or, Candace, Paul, put me back in. Negreanu's running around, already has another seat, right? Yeah. They're going. So they're just playing for, if it's winning $10 to be all in here, they're moving it in, right? So no fear.
And, here's another thing, Adam. For those who don't play over there and don't realize, I mean, I get picked a deal here every time. I think it's pretty cool that it's like a family. They all show up to play because they're like a family. And the high rollers, when I say high rollers, you know what I mean, 10,000 or more buy-ins, they seem to be like family more, and they don't care if they take a bad beat. And I've asked a few of the pros over there that I know they're best friends with another pro. What do you do with your best hand with your best buddy? We already know we're going to play like we're going to play the hand like we got to play the hand. We know how it is. We're not going to let him get off the hook, or he's not going to let me off the hook. So I think it's more of a family environment, like their brothers and sisters playing. I've been, I don't know how many years I've been dealing over there, but I've never seen anyone fly off the handle. Not yet.
Yeah.
And also, including you here, the guys are so good at them that guys, seriously, for those listening, these players are so good that they have to get coolered or bad beaten to take a hit. That's how good they are. And I'm serious. You don't see someone make a real bad mistake. That's just a stupid move. Now, I have seen over there where someone is bluffed and gotten called. But of course, the hand that called him, they had to have that hand to win. Okay? I've had to see that. So I think when you're up against all these good players, it's even going to make you better. Am I right about what I'm saying right now, or what do you think?
Yeah, it's like a good litmus test, right? Like playing against sort of good players all the time, you're going to get better. It's sort of like when I started playing poker, I was in sort of rural Virginia. I was at Virginia Tech, which is a big city because of the school. But beyond that, small area around it. And there wasn't a casino nearby. And I was playing against people that were, okay poker players, but I was beating them all the time. And I'm like, this is fun. I'm winning money, but like, I'm probably not going to get much better versus these guys. So I started playing online, and I always thought, online poker was more educational deposit. So when I deposit $500, I'm like, I might win on this, but this $500 is almost my coaching fee. I'm going to learn how all these really good players play online because it's a tougher atmosphere. Sort of similar to maybe these high rollers where the edges, become a little bit smaller, but because Poker Go does provide like a really small rake, like the 10K is $100 rake on the first entry. That's unheard of anywhere else. It makes it pretty easy to enter these if you have,
multiple entries. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a small edge. It's like some of these places like WSOP, has pretty high rake. I know the main event itself is way less than the rest of the 10Ks, but some of them get really up there. And, the higher the rate, the lower your win rate's going to be.
Well, you were talking earlier about you could now get into day 2 at the WSOP. I don't like that neither.
Yeah.
I just don't like it a bit. I like it that they're not going to hope, like God, they don't change it. It's going to stay 10,000. So the average guy can somehow get a chance to win it and play in it. Because if you had that main event like 25 or 100,000, there wouldn't be that many people in it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I've never been I re-enter myself in these tournaments just because I have the money to do it, or because I see there's like an edge in the tournament. But I do think there should be like limits. Nothing should be unlimited or anything like that. It gets a little too chaotic. It's also sort of really high variance for every player because now you're in for 5 bullets in one tournament. It might mess with somebody pretty mentally. Like I know my mindset after a few bullets, no matter if I'm the best player in the field, I'm still feeling like, is this smart, or I'm feeling some sort of way. And it definitely gets in your head. But for the main event, I think it's really nice how it's just a freeze out. I think it brings a lot of people knowing, the pros can't re-enter, right?
Once they're out, bad beat or not, they can't get back in.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm going to take you backwards here, way back. What got you into poker now?
The first thought I have was poker is back in Alaska. I would play at my grandma's house out in Homer, Alaska, which is like a small fishing town. They're known for the halibut, which is a huge flounder. They get up to, I think their average is probably maybe like 20 pounds, but these get a few 100 pounds, like 6 feet tall, big monsters. But this is the halibut fishing capital of the world. But my dad grew up there, and we'd go in summers because we were moving around from Alaska and other places when I was moving. And we would sit down and play cards, or I'd watch my grandma and her brothers and sisters play, and maybe my mom and dad joined, and we'd play for pennies and stuff like that. I play some games called like 7-card no peaky. I don't even know the rules of that game. No go fish, but a little level above, sort of like poker. And I'd play with them, and I always had a bunch of pennies at the end of the day, doing pretty well. I don't know if they're being nice to me, but that was my first thought of playing cards. So I liked playing cards and stuff like that. I wasn't one to play like board games as much and stuff like that. I didn't really enjoy that, or charades and stuff. And then during summers also, I would turn on ESPN when I wasn't with my dad fishing on the boat or had some time. I'd just sit there and watch ESPN main event coverage. And always like what comes to mind is funny. It's like Chino Ream in his like hat and like button down shirt, hero calling somebody and like making this big thing. And it was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I don't know what they're playing, but it seems like this guy's like in his mind and psychology is going crazy here. And I'm like, man, how do I get a part of this? But I actually just didn't even play poker from watching the main till, college, really.
I tell you, you mentioned Chino Ream. I tell you what, I watch all you guys closely. When this guy is on, he's tough to beat. Chino is.
Yeah.
And especially in the studio. Now, when did you start taking poker a little more serious? I mean, you started, first of all, your nickname I hear is the Iceman. Is that because you're from Alaska?
It's sort of tied in there. The actual reason I was going to Atlantic City a lot after college, that was sort of, a nice casino. They had these big series. They had the Almighty, which is $400. You get a 100K starting stack. It didn't matter that you had a 100K starting stack, but it'd feel cooler. I just remember these people would have 100,000 chips, and if they lost 50,000, which is half their starting stack, they're good as dead. They were all in next hand. these Jersey guys, they're like, I have 100,000, I lost it, I'm all in, they didn't care. Something with that new starting stack, but some of the older crowd who were into Top Gun, they were always like, you look like a young Val Kilmer in Top Gun, and his name in that movie was the Iceman. So from that, also the Alaska connection, it sort of just worked.
So Batman don't like you. The Iceman cometh. Have you ever seen? I think it was Schwarzenegger was one of the Batmans in the movies.
Yeah, he had the goofy outfit. All the
yeah. So so you got nicknamed the Iceman. You start playing higher stakes. What brought you to Vegas to improve your game, or how did it go from winning pennies to the next level?
Yeah, in university, I played poker, sort of these underground, small $100 buy-in games, but it was 50 cents a dollar, and people would mostly buy in for $20, $30. Nobody was in for the 100 big blinds.
Okay.
So people would, they would have $100, but they had 20 at a time, right? Try and spin up the 20.
Yeah.
And I would play those games, which were fun. And I think a lot of those experiences helped me playing circuit events or lower mid stakes, because a lot of those players sort of tie into that player pool, how they play, how they approach poker, the psychology. So that always helped me sort of get a grasp on who I was playing in the lower mid stakes. So from there, graduated college, worked 2 years as a software engineer, and then always playing poker online and stuff like that. And eventually I just, told my parents I was, going to pursue poker. They knew I sort of like poker, but they didn't know much about it really. And quit my job. Next month in May 2017, I go to the World Series and start playing, and had a really hot summer to start. But I just remember not even, I play some high stakes now, but the goal was never to play the highest stakes in the world or anything like that. I've never wanted to play even like a 5K. I thought was, I just want to play the WPT 3,500, and I was happy with that. And it just naturally over time, putting over some good results, playing bigger and bigger.
And that's just as fun as playing the small events. When you raise up and play the bigger events, and you could play the same as the other. I mean, as far as you're not being nervous. Oh my God, this is a bigger buy-in. What the hell? If you keep the same mindset, is there any difference other than the buy-in when you're playing against this group of people or this group of players? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the players are definitely a little different. So it's going to be a little tougher. I always think it's definitely less stressful playing like lower stakes, just because for sure you're like winning in this field, right?
Right.
Like I know I'm going to play at 3,500. I'm going to be one of the better players. But you get to the 10K stakes, you might even be a really good player, but you might have some self-doubt. You get hit with the variance, you take a few bad beats, you're like, I'm not very good. Or you just got unlucky to get in a situation you bust, right? So high stakes definitely test your mental. I'll play these Poker Go series, and if I had a bad day or I wasn't feeling good, I might not re-enter the tournament. Because with the higher buy-ins, comes a lot more psychological issues, maybe just because, you're putting up a little bit more money, even if you do sell action.
Well, what I enjoy about being a dealer, I mean, I play too, but being a dealer, I see how different they play from our daily in the Aria. And of course, Poker Go, it's completely different. Okay. They play more of their cards in the Aria poker room, but over in the Poker Go studio, they're playing the player. They don't care. They're trying to bet a certain way to make you think they have a certain hand. And it's more like chess. And that just I just love that when that happens that way.
Yeah. The more you play poker, it's just like more layers begin to show, because like you first learn poker, you're just learning how the button moves. Like everybody's like so confused. They're like, where's the button? Where's the blinds? And then you're looking at your cards. You're like, is this a good card? And you're learning position. And then finally you actually start looking at your opponent and you're like, oh, I don't think he has anything,
Yeah, I know. That's why I get so thrilled feeling over there.
Where was the first place you played poker?
Well, boy, I tell you what, man, people can't believe my age, but I was 12 years old. My dad had people come over and play 7-card stud, and it was penny, nickel, dime. It was nothing big. Like, we're talking, wow, God dang, are we talking? back in 1970, maybe. I mean, it's way long ago. But Dad put me in the game once. Okay, because they didn't have quite enough players, I guess.
I like how you phrase this. Put you in. He just
yeah,
buy
he
you
goes,
in.
that's how it was.
12-year-old you.
He took the here, play that, and I was really good at math, super good at math, and I won. But I realized, hey, okay, if he's got that, I realized what cards were live, and if he's got that, I gotta have. I don't know why, but also when I was in school, when I was in 4th grade. I was doing algebra. That's how good I was in math. And then when I got to 5th grade, I was tutoring the kindergarten, 1st grade people that had trouble with math. I would use my lunchtime, whatever you call it, and help. So I was pretty good at math. But I don't know. You just seem to fall in love with stuff like that. And I did. I just thought, wow. It's a way to win money. Now, Dad didn't say, hey, keep it, of course, you know. But I played several times and won almost every time. And not just a little bit. Back then, if you won $1 would take you a long way,
especially
buddy.
when you're 12, too.
Listen,
let's not even talk inflation, but
right. But I will tell you what, when I was young, growing up, when you were 16, you were able to drive. Okay. Gas was 32 cents a gallon. Okay. And you know the Twinkies from Hostess?
Oh, yeah.
You don't...
Little Debbie's and stuff?
Yeah, they were a nickel. They were a nickel. And by the way, they were bigger, not little tiny.
Yeah.
And the Big Mac from McDonald's, same way. I mean, it was big and it was like a quarter. Now it's smaller. I mean, just the world's kind of messed up now. I miss the old days.
Yeah, but you'd go and buy those after your big meal?
I mean, and you know, that got me started into playing poker, okay? But what really moved me up the next level, and I know it was several years later, was when they started televising WSOP. And even before Moneymaker won it, I was watching it with Varconi, okay? I was watching it from way back.
That's one of the main event winners.
And I kept thinking, wow, man, this is cool. And you can maybe make a living out of this. So what these guys do. And so I started studying more. And after all my family stuff that's went on in my life, I ran a poker game at the VFW. This was after the Moneymaker effect in 2004.
Where's the VFW? Sorry.
It's like a bar for...
Oh, the veterans.
Yeah, for veterans. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we had a game and we helped buy them TVs and we helped whether you lost your loved one in the war and stuff like that. But we had a tournament that started in my basement. Okay?
Yeah.
And we ran it and it got big. And luckily, right across from my house was a school so everyone could park. It was crazy. And we'd have the game, I think it was every Saturday. And we took out so much money back then where we saved it for a main event. I think it was $5 of each buy-in would go to, just remember, this has been years ago now. We're talking a long time ago. God, over 20 years ago. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, we'd have this game and it got so big. They said, hey, what do you think about moving your game to the VFW? And I said, well, I said that, you know, we got all these chips and stuff. And what about all the tables and stuff? They got tables there.
Yeah.
So we ended up moving the game there. And we had a championship every year. And I won it twice. And before I moved out here in 2008, okay, I won it in 2005 and 2008 is the 2 years I won it. And made the final table every year. And my nephew goes, hey, Uncle, you need to move out here to Vegas, man.
You're killing it.
Yeah, you're killing it. And I was a painter at the time. I painted for 27 years. So, and all the new construction went to hell. I was doing basements and repaints. So I said, you know what?
It's like recession era type.
Yeah, so I moved out here and boom. Here I am now. And I'm loving every minute of it. I just wish I had a little bit more luck on my side.
Yeah. Are there still some people from those games that you are in contact with?
Oh yeah, they come out and visit me.
It's always cool.
Yeah, and remember, I'm a past champion. You have to qualify to play in that main event. You have to play so many ways. You can't just jump in on it. Okay, but because I'm a past champion, I could show up and play the main event once a year, and it's crazy when I show up. They're all like, "Oh my God, you're big time now." And I get a kick out. I think it's funny.
This guy's on TV. He's on Netflix. He's on everything.
And I always tell him, I said, I always told you my son was going to take over the local side, and I'd go global. And I was like saying,
Global Clyde.
Yeah, I went global. My son's taking care of the local. And so I always got to, and they probably thought when I first moved out here that I'd be back. But no, how can you not like Vegas?
Yeah, I know there's
the weather. The only thing I don't like about Vegas is the way people drive. And it gets scary. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, you wouldn't want to have no teenager learning to drive, jumping on the express. I mean, it's like NASCAR racing out there.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of unfortunate drinking and driving going on the strip and off the strip and stuff like that. It is a little scary. And there's more distracted drivers now in general.
No turn
with the
signals.
phone, stuff like that.
Run a stop sign.
I lived in a country, Egypt, where everybody was on their horn. There was no stop signs, no stop lights. The communication was, I'm honking, I'm going, So I brought it back to the States when I came here, and my wife's like, you need to like chill with the honking, because I would just double honk everyone. Even if it's like a courtesy, like let's go or like go through, I would just use it as my, communication. She's like, somebody's going to get you one day if you like keep that up. I'm like, probably right. And my car is like pretty out there. It's like pink and blue and everything. So, maybe got to lay off the horn sometimes.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
This man just got married this year.
Yep.
Wow. Congratulations. She's beautiful, by the way. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. She's been at the studio a few times.
Well, you got to, I don't remember.
Not planned, but like rooting me on. Her family comes by and supports
me to her.
Yeah, definitely.
But she's gorgeous, and congratulations.
Yeah, it's great. It's cool with poker, you never know how relationships work. I remember when I lived in DC, it would be tough. I lived in DC after college, and I was coming out to the World Series. I would maybe be dating somebody before the World Series. And then I come back, it's, a month and a half later, the girl's engaged to some like army guy. You're like, well, I guess it's hard to get a relationship if you're traveling playing poker. So when I moved out here, it became a little easier, and it was, it's good to find somebody that understands poker and is happy with my career.
That you just said it, because if you have the right person and you've chosen poker as your life to make money, if she doesn't understand that you're not going to be there all the time, you're going to be playing a lot, it could affect your play. Like Jesse Lonis. I mean, he's been super hot. You know him as well as I do.
Yep.
But the reason he wins so much, I think, he's got such a great wife that understands this, and he doesn't have to worry about the family problems, where he could just focus still on poker. And you know what? You're probably going to get the same thing, because she probably loves the hell out of you, where you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. They always joke about marriage run good and like baby run good when you have a new baby. It's probably like a little bit of that. You have that support system, but also you're like, not just playing poker for yourself. Now you're playing for other people, and you're, more focused, maybe a little more dialed in.
When you got a family, I believe so. I believe that's a lot of it.
And there's, it's been great so far with all the marriage and stuff, even though I've been at the studio every day since we got married, pretty much playing. So after this podcast, we're going to San Diego for a weekend and just hanging out, going to the beach.
Oh, well,
just
there
the two
you go.
of us. Yeah.
A little
recoup some time.
Kick back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's something I do. I want to see if you do the same thing. All right. I've gotten so much better at, and I'm asking you because I know you're a pro. Okay. I don't consider me a pro yet. I haven't won nothing real big yet. But when I start running bad, I don't let it affect my play. What I do is I take a break from it. Okay. For example, I almost didn't play, and I got lucky and hell went in the spin.
Yeah, I was right next to you during that. I was eating my salad. I'm like, man,
give me the
here we
high
go.
five. I couldn't believe it. But do you see how everybody's giving me fives and stuff? But I wasn't almost going to get in the damn thing because I got bad beated out of the satellite.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what? This is $5,000. That's a lot of money to me.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm like, damn, but I go, I know this situation and I'm playing so damn well. How do I not go? So I decided to get in it. And I get in the damn thing and I get cold decked.
Mm-hmm.
Kings against aces.
Yep.
And I think, well, this is how it's always going to be. I just got to accept it. Now, when I first got into poker, that would upset me. I would be like, man, dealer. I used to get, that's back a long time ago now.
You get after the dealer.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, what'd you do that?
That's good.
But I'm not like that now. That's back in the day. And I thought, you know what? And then I thought, no luck at all. It's just the way it is. And then I knew if you got in that tournament, you'd be in a drawing or a spinoff. You don't think you're ever going to win. So that day came and you're dealing your table.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, and I look away like, and I look back and the thing is spinning now. And I'm looking, I go, come on, one time, Clyde. And the thing's spinning. It's slowing down. Now it's getting close to my name, right?
And it's alphabetical too. It's like A, B, C.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
So it goes C. I'm like,
it was.
It's like, sweet.
And it was going real slow. And it was going slow. And then the last click, I thought, it's going to come up short. The last click, it went on. And I couldn't believe it. So I get to play in the championship.
The funniest part was you won that. And then they took you away and you're on a push or something. You took a break.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're doing interviews or what, but then you came back 30 minutes later and dealt our table again.
Well, I don't know neither how that worked, but I got winded a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so overwhelmed.
It's like, how can you deal after that? You need to relax a little bit.
I like, and everybody, it's so cool. Do you know how I feel when everybody just seems like they like me? Oh my God.
Yeah, everybody's happy when Clyde's dealing the table. So
when you've seen on TV, folks, I was getting ready, if you watched it, I was getting ready to jump back in the chair to deal, even though I was a little winded. Paul must have had someone tap me out. And when I got tapped out, everyone's saying, come here, Clyde. Table 7, 8, 9 on the other side of the room. Congratulations, high-fiving me, hugging. That's not on the film, but wow, that makes me feel so damn good. You wouldn't believe, really.
Yeah.
It was unreal that day.
That day, Clyde got the snack, right?
Oh, yeah, I got me a good snack. Yes, a real good snack. Yeah. So, would you say, this is more about you than me here, so let's get back to you. Would you say your biggest success is 6th in the main event? Or, I mean, I know you've won several other tournaments.
Yeah, like money-wise, everything 6th, and also my happiest moment in poker, probably making the final table. It wasn't even the playing the final table. I just really wanted that main event final table. When I was watching on TV, the November 9, you know, it's not exactly that anymore, but it's just a cool thing. It feels like you're part of a cool existence, like not like a Hall of Fame, but you're like part of this like club now, you know, the final table club, which is super cool. It was awesome. I mean, just like all the stories going on with Leah Margaret's and everything, and then Miss Rocky winning, which was pretty crazy. But you know, I had my own story too, just wanting to play the main as a kid and finally getting there. I'm still the hugest like WSOP main event fan when I watch it, but I was feeling like the magic was lost for a while because I was busting so often, never in the money and stuff like that. I was like, why is the main event cool? But it was, you know, once you get down to it, you felt like there was like something there. And I've never felt that in a poker tournament. Never really felt that in, you know, anything else. So it's cool. Like with poker, your dreams can be realized, whether it's win a tournament, win a bracelet, win a WPT, anything. But for me, like the biggest thing that's happened in poker that I'm like happy for is just like I've been able to play the game every year, no problem. And even if I have a rough year, I've, you know, managed myself, the risk, what I'm playing and everything. And I think the right way that I can play poker, hopefully, till I don't want to anymore.
You know, they were saying for a long time, there's never going to be another pro win the main event since it's gotten the big fields. And then this year's main event, final table, you're there, Ms. Rocky's there. And actually, there's quite a few other players maybe the world don't know, but play on the internet that people knew. So it's a pretty strong table in the first place. And like I said, I've heard them say, "Oh, we're never going to see another pro." But you know what? I think we will, even again.
Yeah.
Takes some luck to get there too, but in the long run, I believe skill's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what other games do you play other than Hold'em?
Like poker games?
Yeah. Do you play Omaha or anything?
I play
like
Omaha high low, but big bet. Not. I know you like your limit 08, right?
I can play either way.
Well, I know you. Yeah, but
I can play pot limit 8 or better.
So Omaha, I've taken a little bit off of those games recently, just because there's so much like no limit right now. I'm doing well at it. And then I just don't really like the tournament atmosphere of the PLO tournaments. I think they're not deep enough structured. There's too many rebuys, stuff like that. And I'm not one to like fire off unlimited bullets in tournament. Just because I think mentally it doesn't do great for me if I'm like in for 5 bullets one day or, stuff like that. So I show up for a first bullet, check in with myself a lot. You know how you're talking about like you take a bad beat, you're like, oh, well,
Right.
I'm done for the day. Maybe I won't play. It's, if you're starting to feel these like emotions when you're playing poker after you lose, maybe take a step back, check in. Maybe am I putting up too much of my bankroll to play this tournament, or what are the other factors? And you're talking about like how it's nice to have, like Jesse has his family at home and everything's probably going well there. It's also like, I feel like some people enter a tournament when they have other things on their mind, right? Like they're thinking about other things. Maybe like you have a disagreement with your girlfriend or your friends or your family, or, maybe your bills, you're having issue paying some bills. You got to like sort that stuff out before you come. Like, I'm sure like Tom Brady, when he goes for a Super Bowl, all he's focused in, everything else, like his family's fine, all his investments, whatever, they're all done. So by the time the game comes, all his focus is in the game, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, sometimes I've had issues where, I'm thinking about other things and I need to fix those or do those before I play poker, or else when you're in a hand and you're stressed about something else, it's not fun, right? Or you're worried about, plenty of other issues.
So you're mainly Hold'em. You don't play like deuce to 7 or nothing like that. Just basically Hold'em. Is that what
No,
you
I
do?
played a little horse. We would play like limit games to start our small cash games back in the day. And I learned a little bit like that, but never into any of those. I thought about playing deuce to 7 triple draw and stuff like this, but there's so much no limit now.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years when I'm like not really trying to grind poker as much, I'll play some of those games for fun, just to learn and whatever. But right now it's, it's like if I'm playing a Raz game, then I'm probably missing a good no limit tournament, right?
Yeah.
And I just can't do that right now.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. There's so much I love about poker. I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about it. And to be just part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Whether I'm playing, dealing, or whatever, it's something good to wake up to every day, knowing that your day is going to be a good day, whether you win or not win.
Right.
But you're just part of the scene, the action. That's what I enjoy about it. When I'm not dealing, I'm watching it or I'm playing it.
Yeah.
And if I'm that, it's just how I am about it. Because I believe one day, and if you all believe in yourself, that one day I'm going to wake up, it's going to be my day.
Yeah.
It's going to be that 6-figure cash that I keep dreaming of.
Mm-hmm. Is that your number one goal? A 6-figure cash?
Yes, because I know my age. I want to get a house.
Uh-huh.
I really want to buy a house, and I probably could do it now, but it would put me down real low in my bank, and I can't.
Yeah, right now the interest rates are really high.
Yeah, I don't want to do that yet. Not till I know once I can get a house, I'm still going to be okay financially.
Yeah,
I probably could get a house right now, but I'm not going to chance it. Get a house, and then if I take some kind of a blow or, thank God this didn't happen, where I'm off for several months with a heart attack again, that it would affect me, my lifestyle. So, but hey, all those out there, listen, man, that's watching right now. Life is what you make it. If you believe in yourself and you keep trying and you don't give up, eventually it'll happen. Now, I'm telling you this now, so when I do win that big one that I want, it's going to make me look right. And if you really got the a goal to do that and what you want in life, I think you can reach it if you don't quit.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, look, we've both started playing penny ante 7-card
Right.
stud, and look where you are now. That's a big improvement from,
Sure.
before anyway.
Yeah, there's a million ways to tackle a dream. It's just, you just got to
And,
focus on yourself and check in with yourself and make sure your day-to-day, everything you're doing is the way you want to do it.
I won the spinoff. I get in for free.
Yeah.
I like to spin that up because guess what? I think last year's winner for the tournament that I won to get in
Mm-hmm.
was, what, 765,000, something like that for first place?
Something like that. I know this year it feels like it's
My
going to be
God.
bigger at the NAPT.
That's what they're
too.
saying. So you can imagine how much that would change my life.
Right. But you can't, when you show up to the table, right, you can't play scared or you can't play this way. You got to play your game, right?
Exactly. You
It's
got
just
to
another tournament too, right?
That's what I mean. I look at, when I play, I look at no matter what the buy-in, I'm there to win. I don't care what, really. It's, you can't be afraid to lose money. If you're afraid, you're not going to be solid, I think, mentally to do what you got to do to win these tournaments.
Yeah.
And like we've talked earlier, and you got this level, you got this level. Now, when I go play in the Poker Go studio, I know what level I got to play at.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play that level down here because they're not understanding what I'm thinking from the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't play the same way because their mind thinking is not the same as playing up against these boys. I mean, they're thinking about what you're trying to represent, what you have. Here, they're just playing their cards, and they're harder to bluff too. Yeah, it's just how it is. So
yeah, I think it's important. I know for me in the main, I was thinking every year, wow, this is the main event. I don't want to mess it up. And I had so many people in my ear. You can't bluff in the main. You can't call it off with pocket kings. You can't do this, can't do this. I'm like, it's just a poker tournament. I have to win somehow. I have to play my game, right? So if you go into these tournaments thinking, this is it. You got to just play your game and not worry about the outside. And don't be afraid. You might look silly occasionally when the cards are on their back, right?
yeah.
Sometimes I've had that plenty happen. And it's not a good feeling when you're like, maybe this was a bonehead play, right? But you have to reason with yourself and be okay with doing these plays. Sometimes you'll look stupid. Sometimes you'll be a hidden genius, right? You'll make these crazy plays and somebody's like, this guy's an idiot for doing this. But who cares about those small voices? You just pick the play that you think's right. If it looks stupid, it looks stupid. But sometimes you can hit a 2-outer and, pick up the pot too.
I don't remember which event it was, but I'm going to show a little love to Doug Lee. He hasn't played a lot in our studio, but he happened to be playing this. Matter of fact, he almost won the purple jacket. He was right in it.
Well, he was at the Venetian, I guess, before, won a satellite there.
Anyhow, I was stealing at his table, and he made an unbelievable call. I mean, it was, the guy put him all in, and he called with ace high, and he was correct.
Oh, wow.
He had nothing but ace high, and now he's chip leader. I mean, it's crazy. He thought about it, used the time clock, time extension, and I was like, wow, Doug, wow. But see, that's the kind of things you got to do sometimes to win in these things. Make calls like that. Make folds if you're beat. Am I right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely some plays he probably made that people are like, oh, what's this? Or why do you do that?
Exactly.
Or if that ace high call went wrong, everybody would be laughing. Not everybody be laughing, but some people might be laughing at him in the comments on YouTube or on Poker Go chat, right? And you just have to isolate and be like, why am I making this decision? Don't worry about the outsiders and play like he played his own game and he got second overall in this leaderboard.
I think he did. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he got third in the last one, the 25.
Yeah.
David Coleman won the purple jacket.
And he got second.
And he got second.
I mean, it's pretty incredible, but yeah, it's just everybody can win at poker, what makes it beautiful, but don't deviate because you're playing against an amazing player and be like, well, I'm worried he'll call me here, but logically reason it, and I'm doing this because I think it's the right play, no matter how ridiculous it looks.
Yeah. What information can you give a player that's trying to get to the next level? What do they need to do to get up to be able to play in the Poker Go studio, to play against the best of the best What do they need to improve on mainly to be able to play at that level?
Yeah, one thing I'd watch out for is like who you're talking to about poker hands. It's fine to talk to anybody, no matter your skill level. You'll always get some information. Like maybe a guy's playing $1,000 tournaments on average. I still like talk to him and try and, hey, these circuit events, like how do these people play? Or like, what do you like doing? Or what goes well, right? Maybe 3-betting this population works. So always talking to anybody about poker is fine. Just be careful talking to people that have a negative outlook on it. They always just, if you talk hands with them, they're just bringing up a bad beat you took, right? Because eventually you're just going to give bad beats and talk bad beats. You're not going to be productive about the hand. Instead of like, I lost jacks to ace king. Was there anything else I could have done? Okay, there wasn't. That's fine. Let's move on. Everybody takes bad beats, right? I always find it sort of funny. Sometimes during World Series, I'll have somebody come up to me and they'll want to ask about a hand. And it ends up being a hand that, they lose aces to kings or kings to aces. Like, should I have got away? Or, oh, this is so unbelievably unlucky. It's like, you're choosing these few minutes we could be talking and like learning about a hand or, giving each other good information. You're just literally just wanting therapy, right? So be careful. Like if you're talking to people too much at poker and they're just not really giving good, productive value, maybe like find somebody else to talk poker with, right? I have some group chats. It's where the only time I give my bad beats, I just like fire it out. I'm like, blah, 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 this guy, blah, 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 blah. And we're like laughing about it. But like, then you go in and you actually study, go use a tool to study about the hand or talk to your friends. I think it's just super important to not be super toxic with poker. Like if you take a bad beat, everybody's been there.
Well, I tell you, I want to congratulate you though, because if you remember, I was railing you, I was rooting you on there, and you was wearing my snack attack hats, which I wish I would have brought one in the studio here with me, but I didn't. But we're getting close to being at the end here.
Yep.
I really love you coming by and agreeing to be on the Snack Attack podcast here in the studio. And anytime you want to come back on is great.
Sure.
And once again, thank you, Adam. 6th in the main event this year, guys. 6th in the main event. And I'd always like to close it by thank you all for watching. And may God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.
Let's watch Clyde win this NAPT, huh?
That would be good too. That would be good.